The NASCAR Beginner Series powered by iRacing is the premier NASCAR esports series featuring the cars and tracks from the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. The 2016 campaign saw a return to the top of the mountain by Ray Alfalla as a three-time NASCAR World Champion. The march to that championship was not easy, though, despite the fact that Ray Alfalla took home the most points in series history. It just also happened to be the tightest championship fight we had ever seen. These guys are set for the 2017 campaign, and as it has been for the 7 years prior, it is no longer going to be a straight shot to the championship. We are going to see the biggest change in this championship picture in series history, as for the first time ever, there will be a chase for the championship. We're going to go into the Homestead Miami Speedway at the end of the season with the 4 best oval sim racing drivers in the world absolutely tied in the championship. You just got to beat the other 3 guys out and you will become an official NASCAR champion. You're going to get yourself a NASCAR championship ring and, of course, $10,000. These are the iRacing Esport World Championships, the pinnacle of sim racing competition. You can catch it all season long, live coverage on iRacing.com/live.
Good morning, race fans around the world, and welcome to RaceSpot TV Race Day from the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pace. This is Interlagos, and every Saturday of World Championship Grand Prix Series coverage, we've not only got 1, we've got 2, we've got 3 great races for you. And we start with the Formula Renault SimCup here from Interlagos. We are about 3 minutes away from heading ourselves to the starting grid, and that gives me the opportunity to welcome in our commentators for this event, Paul Smith and Cam Walsh. Paul, over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Will, and what an exciting day it is for the start of a brand new series, and we've got some absolutely top Formula Renault drivers here racing in this one tonight, and if you watched any of the Friday primetime series of the last first 12 weeks even, then you would have seen what amazing action that you can get from these cars. And Cam, we've got some really good conditions for these cars as well. It's not too hot on the track temperature, so the car's going to get a lot of grip pretty quick here, and they'll be able to push from the start.
Not only that, we've got some of the very best Formula Renault drivers that you can find here in iRacing, and just gotta say, I love these Super Saturdays. A day like this, it is going to be a fun one, so happy to be here, even though it's a little early here in the East Coast of the United States. You know what? It's a great thing to wake up to race cars.
Yeah, some of the drivers that you'll want to be looking out for, people like Hugo Preto, Aurelien Talamon, people like that, who's really going to be setting some good times here and got some good races. Scott McIntyre we saw last night didn't have the best of races last night on Friday prime time in the Formula Renaults, so he'll be hoping that he'll be able to just quickly get that form out of the book and get a really good result here today.
And there's also other drivers like Juani Lopez and Ali Kvolka. They haven't put any times in just yet, but you know what? It's just getting not too far away now. We've got 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in this warm-up session, so people aren't qualifying. They're just practicing right now, practicing how everything's going to go here at this 15-turn, 2.68-mile track. And I have to say, if it's like any other race that I've seen at Interlagos, it's probably going to be a very, very good one.
Well, this is it. We'll quickly touch on this Interlagos track. As you say, it's a 15-turn course. And it's a course of different sections, because you've got the really high-speed sections through from Junção all the way through down to Descenda del Lago. And then you've got the really technical infield section then that really is going to test these drivers, being able to set up the car for a mix of fast, but also being able to handle those lower speed technical corners.
Well, and it's not just that. You're dealing with the traffic as well. It's a great circuit if you're just hot lapping or driving solo. But when it really comes to life when you're driving around with other cars, and especially when you can see the duels themselves, the individual duels between the pairs of drivers, it is always a track that seems to highlight those. And you got a couple of trouble areas though. You've got this the inner. I like to call it like the inner cloister of corners 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like that intersection here at Interlagos, and then you've got a very dangerous corner number 12 too. A lot of times you'll lose a car there, the rear will kick out, Paul, and that can cause some trouble.
Okay, so we're getting all set for this race, so it'll be time to have a look at this grid then. And on pole position, it is Simon Maria Marceno with a time of 1 minute 29.457. Scott Newton qualifies in second place with Fabio Gonzalez in third. Hugo Preto rounding out the top two rows of the grid. Aurelian Talmont and Alex Sadler then on row 3 with Jörg Kippenberg and Gillian Dimov on the next row. Corelius Joveza and Juan E. Lopez round out the top 10 of the field. We've got a big grid here today, 30 cars on the grid. Oli Kvoka, who we see on Friday prime times regularly as well, he's in 18th place, and Scott McIntyre, as I was saying earlier, not the best of days yesterday, he's in 21st, but a really top line field that we've got here then, Cam, and a 30 car field. That's a big grid here. Down into the centre S at the start of this race, it's always causes a few issues. It just pinches up there on the apex, and you sometimes get a few issues there.
Yeah, engines are revving up, Paul, and they are getting ready to go green. Will we see any trouble going into the Senna S? As you said, it's 28 cars in total here. They will go into the Senna S. Already a couple of cars running 3 wide. It looks so far like everyone is coming in nice and clean as the entirety of the field comes through. I see a couple of them 3 wide, but they're better than that. No troubles going through the Senna S to start our Saturday.
Yeah, so going down towards Descenda del Lago then for the first time, you see them all fanning out behind, all getting a little bit defensive driving, but at the front it is still Marceno in the lead there ahead of Scott Newton, Fabio Gonzalez in third place, and we've got cars going side by side a little bit further back there, and well, it's Kopperberg and Dimov there as well, the VRS Quantum SimSpot driver. Kopperberg just Kippenberg, sorry, I do apologise, going through around the outside of that corner number 8, down through this tight, twisty section now. He is up a position, so good start from Kippenberg here, but everybody so far behaving themselves, not getting into any scrapes so far, Cam, and that's what we wanted to see. We wanted to see a nice clean start and everyone able to get away here.
Yeah, so 25 minutes left on that clock. Well, it's about 22 now, but for Simon Marceno, he's managed to get a fairly decent jump off of this. He's got a good start. He's already looking at just about 0.7 of a second, which is going to be important, and he's going to probably get bigger because Scott Newton is going onto the inside of Hugo Preto going into the Senna S. That Apex car looks like it probably has the position over the TNT car as they lunge 3 cars behind. It was Fabio Gonzalez, Alex Sadler, and Aurelian Talmont, as everyone's still making it through the Senna S, and some of these guys are even taking it fully 2 wide under full speed. That just goes to show you what kind of talent that we have in this field here. As looking at the 23 car, it's Jan Moritz Kaman as he is trying to pressure Philip Stam, and Philip Stam is actually trying to pressure Carolus Hoviasa, but it's not necessarily going to work. He's going to lose a position to Jan Moritz.
So there we go then, we've got movement all over the field, and Scott Newton's race around yet, and he's, well, he's able to keep going here. It was on the outside of Ferradura, and well, he's dropped down a ton of positions there. He was second place, he's down to 9th place now. We'll get a replay up for you, I'm sure, on screen, but it was, well, he was under attack there from Preto, I do believe it was, and that got what turned him around. He's back up and running as Scott Newton. Hugo Preto down to 4th place now in this one. We've got a car running wide there on the exit of turn 11, and well, all sorts of drama happening all of a sudden here, Cam.
Yeah, it is kicking off here on lap number 2 for Scott Newton, though. Very lucky.
Oh, we've got a car losing control. That's Lopez. Lopez is around. Big crash there for him. He tried to look down the inside going up the hill. He ended up going onto the grass and bouncing that car. He goes around into the wall. Fortunate not to collect anyone else. He is out of this one then. He's going nowhere now.
And in sympathy of that, Jan Moritz Kaman ended up taking a spin, and Scott McIntyre ended up hitting him not that long after and giving himself suspension damage. So very lucky that we didn't have more of these Formula Renault cars get torn up there. That's, it's one of the faster sections of the circuit. So, yeah, 3 cars just like that. We've kicked that off. And, they're just going to have to pick those pieces up as it looks like Jan Moritz Kaman, Scott McIntyre, Juani Lopez, just like that, are out of this race.
Yeah, certainly some big drama early on in this one, and we've still got another 21 minutes of this race. Oh, and Milani is round now. Everything's happening in this one. Fabio Milani, comes back on and makes contact with the car. That is Chris Malcolm, I believe, who has made contact with. All sorts of drama going on in this one. The Milani was contacted by the Apex Racing UK driver of Scott Newton. And well, Milani, he's trying to get back up and running. When he was trying to get back on track, he then made contact. So further dramas in this one, and we keep on singing the praises of some of these drivers, but some rookie errors going on out on track here as we're going on, and we've got a car coming into pit road. That's Hugo Preto. There's obviously damage from that earlier contact in the race. Going in towards turn 1, Talmon and Yarviza now. They're battling away for that 6th place. Not able to get the position as Yarviza, but he's a man who's been working through the field here. He started down in 9th and is already up to 6th place here then, Cam.
Yeah, and all the way up front, I was saying a very good lap from Simone Marie Marciano to start this race. It has only gotten better as he is now looking at a 4+, almost 5-second lead now that he's had those other cars have had trouble. So for Simone Maria, well, he's going to have, I don't want to say an easy day. He's got a fairly decent run already started, and it looks like he is going to be doing fairly well for himself here at the start of our RaceSpot race day. And Paul, just looking back that far behind, it's Fabio Gonzalez and Alex Sadler. They're going to be fighting for the rest of the podium, and it looks like it is just going to be just them after all those troubles that we've had. Seems to have at least separated the front just a hair, but there's still quite a bit of action going on this track.
Yeah, there certainly is, and that battle for second place has been heating up. I will say that we see so many times with these Formula Renaults that when the leader gets a breakaway and gets over 2 seconds ahead of the next car, is able to pull away. But now look at Alex Sadler looking to the inside, heading towards the center S, and Fabio Gonzalez is almost just going to let him go by here. Not going to fight too hard there, so Gonzalez letting Sadler pass, maybe lining him up for later on in this race, maybe looking after his tyres a little bit. It is quite a long race. It's 25 minutes in these Formula Renaults, so they'll be abusing these cars. But now Gonzalez, he's having to look to the outside because Sadler holding an inside line. Now Sadler moves in to that racing line, so that's a change of position then for the good for Alex Sadler then, up to second place in this one. Scott Newton and Corrales Yarviza are still battling away, not able to change positions. In fact, Yarviza has dropped down a couple of positions on this last lap, so he's down to 8th place now. Newton and Talmon have made it past him.
Yeah, and looking through here, not necessarily a great recovery, I guess I should say. After I think, this is sort of that troubled area when they came into that inner cloister the last lap, about 2 laps ago, when they had that huge kickoff of issues. I saw a lot of cars making up some positions on cars that were taking it carefully, which is what you would want to see. But overall, though, I think whoever's held on to their positions have done that fairly well. We did have another spin talking about that incident earlier. We did have another spin involving Jan Schwitter in another car, and I believe it was Jan Schwitter who took the worst of that. Whereas he had to retire as well. So we've got 4 or 5 cars retired and 25 still circulating. So there's still a lot of action looking to go around on the track right now. Scott Newton, though, just as we're saying, looking to be pressured by Carolus Javoisa, and I almost wonder if these guys, Paul, are just taking it a little easy after that kickoff.
Well, this is it. Jovisa was really attacking going into the centre S, but he was forced to the outside line. It takes a lot to make that move stick. You just have to go back, cast your mind back all the way back to Juan Pablo Montoya making the move around the outside of Michael Schumacher on the entry to the centre S. So it can be done, and we have seen it done previously, but it's a very difficult overtake to make in a race like this. But so far, your standings at the, in the early to mid going of the race. It is lap 6 at the moment. Simone Maria Massone in the lead of this one, ahead of Alex Sadler, is in second place, who's pulling away from Fabio Gonzalez. So Gonzalez doesn't quite have the pace of Sadler there. He's now in third. Is Gonzalez. Michael Partington in fourth place, with Gillian Dimov in fifth. Aurelian Tolman in sixth, with Scott Newton seventh. Carolus Javoisa, as we've been saying, putting the pressure on Newton, not close enough this time. He's in 8th place, with Jörg Kippenberg in 9th, and Olli Kvoka up into 10th place. Olli Kvoka, who started down in 18th place, so some big gains there for Ollie, and another one who's had a big gain in that field as well. People like Gareth Dorning as well, 23rd to 12th place. So good racing further down, so obviously taking advantage of incidents that have been happening. And Gareth Dorning at the moment is under a little bit of pressure for that 12th place. And we've got a little bit of an issue for the number 5 car, and that's Yannick Danish, who's had a bit of an issue on the exit of the centre S, done it all on his own. Carried a little bit too much speed, the back end goes round into the barrier. He's got rear wing damage, and he's just going to have to let everyone go by here then, Cam.
Yeah, that is very unfortunate how he, you almost made the entire corner, and you just start to cycle the car through, and you ended up losing the rear of that Formula Renault car, and not much you can do at that point. I mean, you're going downhill. It is a very steep downhill, and actually he loops it once again. So your 14th position car this lap, obviously is going to be sliding well down. We'll see when Yannick Danish, that is going to be it. The car damaged to where he feels he can't drive it. So now it's up to 6 retirements, which is still fairly tame for what could have certainly happened. We haven't really seen a massive incident. We could have seen it going into the Senna S.
Newton's under pressure here from Javoisa, going in towards the centre S, but again, Newton holding that inside line. He's got a little bit of front wing damage, just the slightest amount of damage on that car. And Scott Newton, we've seen how tiniest of damage on these front wings on these Formula Renaults can really affect not only your top end speed of the car, but also the speed that you carry through these mid to high speed corners as well. You've not got as much damage, and Javoisa is looking to the inside, down the descent of Interlagos, into turn 4. Thank you very much. That's enough the position, although he runs wide as Javoisa, able to hold on to it for the time being. Scott Newton not really able to do anything about that. And that was a job nicely done there for Javoisa then, Cam.
Yeah, absolutely, and turn 4 is always a hot spot, as Scott Newton getting a little late on the brakes, trying to keep up, just nipping the rear of that number 20 car, as Carolus is, corner number 4, it's not easy per se, because you do have to stick the landing. As we saw, he went a little wide. It's very easy to go too wide. But he managed to make it work fairly straightforward. And Scott Newton, well, you know what? You've still got quite a bit left in this race. We're just about halfway. So he's got a lot of racing left to do to where he could potentially hunt down, or also he could be hunted down by Jörg Kippenberg.
The last step of the podium is also under pressure here as well, because Michael Partington has been catching up to the back of Fabio Gonzalez, and he's going to look to the inside very late. Into the wall goes Partington, and well, that's a massive error that he's made there. He's got a lot of damage to that car. He's going to try and crawl that car around. Pasco, Tolmon and Dimov there to gain a couple of positions for them. But, well, Partington was looking like he was going to be making a good one. It just looked like he locked the rear brakes up on the downshift of the gears.
I think he probably locked that left front. I'm pretty sure when I looked at my replay that his left front had completely locked, and the other three I don't think had yet. And so as soon as that happened, the car just swung to the inside, and he had run it so close.
We've still got action going on here. Talman and Dimov have been going side by side all the way through from 5, and well, they finally sort themselves out, but they're heading towards the Pico to Pato, and well, Dimov is looking to have the better pace here as he's heading in through that turn 10 corner. You want to carry as much speed as you can now through 11. Get on your brakes really late. Set that car up well for the run through Young Cow, and try and carry as much speed as you can through that left-hander, because all the speed that you can carry through there then multiplies as you're going up that hill. You're going to have the slipstream of the car in front as well, and Dimov looking to get in that slipstream, and well, Talmon feeling the need to get very defensive here, switching lane, trying to break that draft. It's not going to work, but Dimov, he's going to look to the outside. We've not seen anybody make that move yet today. Heading through the Senna S, and all this has allowed the two behind of Jovica and Scott Newton to catch up to this battle as well. So it's a 4-car train for 4th place here, Cam.
Yeah, and Jorg Nippenberg, he's actually running fairly close. He's trying to run them down as well, as they're still looking a little serpentine. Galan Dimov a little hopeful going into 4, but that's going to scrub his speed off in Carolus. Jovica will end up looking to make an attempt, as Scott Newton now enjoying the draft to keep up with these guys. He's now covering that damage so very close as they go up the very large corner number 7 into 8 into this little inner cloister here. So very close, and he will loop the car. Galvin will. He actually gets tipped by Scott Newton. He is now going to be upside down. That is that number 44 is going to be race over.
Yeah, Dimov then. It was side by side through Ferradura, heading in towards turn 8, and it was that side by side action, just the tiniest a little bit of contact, and I know he gets just tagged as well. Over he goes. That's his race done. Dimov is out of this one, and we've seen so many incidents in this one so far, Cam. And is it a case of just people trying to learn how each other can race against each other, you know, how they seem to get on in races like this, because you don't know different people's driving styles and how aggressive people will be?
It could be nerves too. I mean, this is the very start of a hopefully a very good series to accommodate as well with the iRacing World Drivers Championship Formula Grand Prix Series. I'm sure is another acronym that's actually correct. But you know, you've also got the Porsche Supercup that we're going to be having. So I think it could just be nerves. It could just be all the track weather is actually perfect, I would say, for racing cars, especially Formula Renault like that. But it is the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series. Yes, I know. But just a little bit of nerves. But I think for the most part, though, Paul, it is just figuring out that communication, figuring out the drivers that you're racing with. And for the most part, we're seeing things fairly work. We just had a couple of incidents in that middle pack from about P5 back to P10 seems to have been where most of the drama's been today.
Hugo Preta, who's been one of the people who has been in the pits here today, has just made a move up to 14th place now. So he's going to be trying to gain as many positions as he can. It's not going to be many positions he can gain, really. He's got Jack Godden ahead of him. That's one more place. By the way, Niffenberg, Jorg is trying to catch up to Scott Newton for that 6th place. There's about half a second between them as we're heading in to the final 8 minutes of this race. And, well, it's been an absolutely dominant display as Emil Stanchout, he has gone for a little bit of a spin, and that's at Young Cow. Tried to carry as much speed as he possibly could. Carried a little bit too much speed. Around goes the back end of the car. Plumer spoke as he spins the car back round. that car number 7 now. He's now down to 12th place after that little error. But we're seeing these little errors coming and creeping in here, Cam, and as we see Godden having to go defensive against Preto, but Preto's going to make the move. But lots of errors going on here. People, it's a tricky car, is this car, and once the back end goes around on it, it's very difficult to hold on to it.
Almost 2,000cc 4-cylinder 16-valve naturally aspirated engine is Hugo Preto covering Jack Godden going into corner number 4. I mean, these cars, they are a blast to drive and really a good time to race as well.
Lippenberg almost lost control of that car. He's had to correct himself there. Holds onto it in the end, but he's lost the opportunity of battling with Scott Newton now as we're heading in towards the final third of the race. He's now over 3 seconds behind now after that little mistake there, and that's coming out of turn 9.
Yeah, and like I said, these cars, they are a blast to drive, but they can get a little angry at times. I think perhaps when you overdo the tires or when you don't have your pressures absolutely on par, which I expect from these guys, so I don't think that's it. But what this might do is allow Ali Kvoka to start loping in Jorg Nippenberg, but as they look at the last couple of lap times, though, Ali, while having very, very good laps, isn't really keeping up with these guys. Is Lino Alberto, the number 21, the number 81 car. He seems to have lost it coming off of corner number 4, and he had no help there. Completely a solo run, going very slow though on the outside of the racing surface. Yeah,
big moment for Lino. And he's pretty much stopped in the runoff area, so he possibly will be out of it. Oh, he's getting back up and running again, so hopefully he won't get anybody's way as he returns back to the track surface. But so far in this race, we started with 30 cars. We've gone 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 cars out of, 8 cars out of this one. And Alberto now, I believe, he's pulled over again, so it could be car number 9 out of this one. No, he's going back up and running again. Looking through your field then, Jack Godden, he is just over a second ahead of the next car down, and Larius, he's got a lot of damage to the back end of that car, that 189 car. A lot of rear wing damage, so he's been involved in incidents. He hasn't pitted in this race. People who have pitted in this race, Richard Arnaud, Philip Stam, and Lionel Alberto, who is back up and running now. So also Hugo Preto, who has made a pit stop in this one. Closest battle, Oleg Quirker and John Godfrey. John Godfrey looking to the inside into the centre S. He's not going to make the move this time, but John is looking threatening. He's looking ominous here, Cam. And with the final 5 minutes of this race, Ollie, he will be desperate to hold on to that 8th place.
I think the car has fallen out a little bit underneath Ali Kvoka as the lap times have been slowly climbing up, which is something you can fairly easily see. I think he went a little defensive that last lap, so that might have scrubbed a little bit of that speed. But yeah, for John Godfrey, I mean, his last lap was a 1:31.1, and that which was faster than all of the laps that number 30 car have done. So for Ali, it's not too hard to be defensive here. You just got to watch out on the exit of 12. You just got to watch out on the run-up, and you just got to be careful around 4. And it's a fairly easy track to defend otherwise. But either way, John Godfrey, that Apex car, looks like it is running fairly quick, and he's at least hooked up, at least for now, in the closing stages of this race.
Certainly is, and well, your leader is just coming across the start lap 15, and he is 7.4 seconds ahead. Scott Newton is looking a bit threatening as well. But Oleg Kvoka is the one who is under pressure from Godfrey, although gets a better run out of Young Cow this time by to be able to keep ahead for the time being as they head down towards the centre S. Scott Newton putting the pressure on Karalis Yalvisa in through turns 1 and 2, and going through the covered assault. You really got to get the run through there correctly, really get on the power early to carry that speed. Going down towards turn 4, Scott Newton's looking a little bit impatient. He's trying to get in the mirrors of Yalvisa and trying to make the mistake, and Yalvisa just running that a little bit wide then. able to carry the speed though, and he's able to hold on for the time being to that 5th place, and 5th place is going to be a good result for him if he can hold on to that one. He did start then in 9th place, so he's moved up a few positions in this one, but Scott Newton, he's been in the wars here. He started on the front row of the grid, and he's trying to just get back those positions, try and get as good a result as anything, because a good run into the start of this championship really sets you up well for the rest of the season, Cam.
Well, it absolutely will, and it's good to sort of stamp out where you lie in a way. And of course, Scott does have that right front wing damage on his number 781, as he looks to be hovering right behind that number 20, as Jovisa does end up doing a little bit of a serpentine. That's not an unusual thing to see here at Interlagos. Actually, fairly common as they swing around that very dramatic left-hander to finish out the racing circuit here at Interlagos, but fairly easy going through the set of S. But I think these guys are just starting to probe each other here. They know they've only got they've only got 2, maybe 3 laps to go here at Interlagos.
A minute 40 left on the clock then here, and Scott Newton right up under the gearbox, and that was a late move, almost in the braking zone from Jovisa, runs it wide through the corner of Interlagos, and heading up now towards Ferradura. Once again, this is lap 16 of the race. These two absolutely nose to tail. Scott Newton all over the gearbox of Jovisa, headed in towards turn number 8. This tight right-hander really got to be patient on the throttle through this next corner as well, the left-hander, and then Bico de Pato, and we're looking forward. We're going to be heading in towards your final lap of the race. The leader is going to be starting his final lap, so Scott Newton, Cam, needs to make this move soon.
Yeah, and this is actually, it's really impressive to see the recovery like this. He ended up making contact with this second position car on the very opening of this race, got launched well to the outside of corner number 7. He has recovered immensely here. Now he is locked and loaded here on this number 20 car of Carrozas Jovisa, but you've got to give it to Simone Maria Marciano. We'd love to have talked about him more, but it was a fairly decent race, as there is actually charging on the outside going into corner number 1. Not quite sure if that is going to hold. It's not, but just looking at that number 7 car, Simone has done an absolutely phenomenal race. A 7-second lead, no worries for him.
And well, looking back then, it's Scott Newton and Jovisa. The time is running out for Scott, and Jovisa is knowing this. He's going defensive early in towards this Interlagos. Through the left-hander, he makes a little mistake here. Scott Newton, can he try and get down the inside? No, he can't, but he's got the better run out of turn 5, heading up towards Ferradura now. And well, they're going side by side into Ferradura, but Scott Newton can't make that move. Can he get the undercut, get the inside line towards turn number 8? Jovisa covers that inside line, locks up a brake. He's going to hold on to that. And well, it's been an absolutely dominant display from the front for Simone Maria Marciano. He started on pole position, is going up through these final corners now. He can almost taste the champagne. He can see the checkered flag. He's taking it nice and easy through the final corner, then across the line to win the opening round of this championship. Fantastic result for Simone Maria Marciano from him. Scott Newton, by the way, he is still battling away. Can't get past Jovisa as they're heading on towards the finish line here. Just like, Alex Sadler finished second with Fabio Gonzalez third, but they're going to come across the line, and Scott Newton just cannot do it here. Hugo Preto, by the way, has made up a position on this final lap. He has got up into 12th place now, so beating Emil Stanchel in that one, going up the hill towards the end of the lap. And well, Cam, fantastic race. A few incidents in this one, but really good racing today.
Well, absolutely. We did see quite a bit of action in that P5 to P10 area, but you know what? That's allowed some other people to have very good results coming out at the end of that one, as it looked like Ali Poco was able to keep his position over John Godfrey as well. So a very good racing from when we had it for Simone Marciano. I mean, that is, I don't want to say it's an easy day. It's very tough to be able to pull that off. But yeah, flag to flag for Simone Marceno, Alex Sadler, a good run as well, and Fabio Gonzalez. So your podium, it's a very strong one, and I have to say that if the racing season is going to be anything like this, Paul, it is going to be a good one.
Yeah, so let's have a look then at those final results in the round one of the Renault SimCup here on iRacing Live and RaceSpot TV, and it is a dominant display, lights to flag victory for Simone Maria Marceno, beaten his competition by 8 seconds ahead of Alex Sadler, who finished in second place after starting in 6th on the grid, so a really good result for him. Fabio Gonzalez started third, finished third. He was up to second for a while, but wasn't able to hold on to that position. Aurelien Tolmon then finished in 4th, with Carolus Jarviza in 5th place. Scott Newton rounding out the top 6 there. Jörg Kippenberg just not able to get on with those guys in 7th place. Oli Kvoka, a big mover there. 18th he started, finishes up in 8th place ahead of John Godfrey, who finished in 9th. And rounding out the top 10, Gareth Dorning started 23rd, up to 10th place. And we'll have a look at the rest of the results there. Some notable names. Hugo Preto, who got involved in that little incident with Scott Newton early in the race. He finished in 12th place. And a couple others who went into the pits as well. Richard Arnaud, and also people like Philip Stam as well, finishing further down your order. But really good first race there in the Renault SimCup, and we will be looking forward to the one next time out, and that should be a good one. But make sure you stick around, because we do, of course, have the Super Cup coming up next, Will.
Indeed, so thank you there to Paul Smith and Cam Walsh. They'll be sticking with us for the RaceSpot Super Cup, which is coming up very soon here on RaceSpot Race Day. That would, of course, conclude with round number 1 of the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series. So thank you for being with us over the course of this afternoon. For those of you who are just joining us, you've just missed a fantastic race. We'll review that, and we'll talk about Porsche action after these messages. You're watching RaceSpot TV on iRacing Live.
The NASCAR Peak Innova Series, powered by iRacing, is the premier NASCAR esports series featuring the cars and tracks from the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. The 2016 campaign saw a return to the top of the mountain by Ray Alfalla as a 3-time NASCAR World Champion. The march to that championship was not easy, though, despite the fact that Ray Alfalla took home the most points in series history. It just also happened to be the tightest championship fight we had ever seen. These guys are set for the 2017 campaign, and as it has been for the 7 years prior, it is no longer going to be a straight shot to the championship. We are going to see the biggest change in this championship picture in series history, as for the first time ever, there will be a chase for the championship. We're going to go into the Homestead Miami Speedway at the end of the season with the 4 best oval sim racing drivers in the world absolutely tied in the championship. You just got to beat the other 3 guys out, and you will become an official NASCAR champion. You're going to get yourself a NASCAR championship ring, and of course, $10,000. These are the iRacing Esport World Championships, the pinnacle of sim racing competition. You can catch it all season long, live coverage on iRacing.com/live.
Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen, to RaceSpot Race Day, as we're going to wrap up our coverage of the Formula Renault SimCup coming up soon. In just about 25 minutes time, we'll be thinking about the RaceSpot TV Super Cup here. And Paul Smith, Cam Walsh is still here. Well, Paul, we've had ourselves the small, fun little cars in the Formula Renault. Now, let's go up a step and get the Porsches out.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be fantastic racing here. And these Porsches, they're a tricky car to drive as well. So we're going to see possibly a few more mistakes in this one. And the drivers, it's a really difficult one to handle. You've really got to be careful with your brakes because it's so easy to either lock up a front brake or lock up those rears. And we saw in that Formula Renault race, if you lock up the rears, your back end goes round and that's it. That's the end of this one. The Porsches, they can take a little bit more of a beating though, so I don't expect to see quite as many cars to be retiring from damage.
Yeah, and we've currently got ourselves over 65 drivers trying to qualify into that event. Cam, 40 will make the field, so we are going to have some very close times.
Only 40? Well, I mean, that's they probably could have stuck one or two more in there at least. But yes, the Porsche Super Cup, one of the most well-known sports cars, at least to me, and one of the most well-known racing series, I have to say, just around any section, any corner of the world, international, national level, even all the way down to almost the East Coast, West Coast. There's Porsche Super Cup cars, Porsche 911 cars racing all over, and they always put on an amazing show. And as long as none of them end up on their roof, which is actually a surprisingly easy thing to do, they should be a-okay to go.
I like what you did there. Let's go back then to review the results of round number 1 of the RaceSpot TV from the Renault SimCup. And the thing that we didn't really talk about in that one was the fact that Simone Marcheno was just absolutely outstanding. And he got himself an 8-second gap, but very easily, Paul. If he was pushing, that could have been even higher. And I think what happened, the incidents at the start of the event, really gave him that opportunity. And as soon as he broke away, there was no looking back.
Yeah, that was it. You know, as I said during the broadcast there, we see it time and again with the Formula Renault in the series that we've covered on RaceSpot, that once you get that gap at the front of 2 seconds, maybe 2.5 seconds, if you're one of the top guys, you can just drive away from the rest of the field, because the rest of the field generally are pretty close together, so they're always going to be tripping over each other and fighting it out. So definitely, with someone like that, with someone who's an absolutely brilliant driver, we've seen him in various series here on RaceSpot, you know, he really just got his head down, got away, and that's it. He just doesn't have to push then. He just takes it easy, manages that gap, and was still able to just pull away from the second place driver.
Yeah, Alex Sadler did a good thing there by able to get past Fabio Gonzalez. I would argue that he can't stop the bleeding in terms of that race lead, Marcheno just drifting further and further away. But I think what we saw with Sadler is it did take him quite a while to work himself up into that second place. Qualifying is probably one thing, but he is going to want to work on as we move ourselves to the second round of the championship.
Yeah, definitely. It's a little bit to work on there, and he's really got to. It's something that quite a few drivers will be looking at that first round and saying, right, okay, that's where I stand at the moment. Let's see how I can get on then for the next round. It's going to be a difficult one as well. Qualifying is always crucial, and looking in towards the rest of the season, it doesn't get any easier. It certainly doesn't.
No, it doesn't. Fabio Gonzalez then getting himself third place in that one, Cam. It shows that Frostmaster are very strong in this championship. However, they did end up getting split at the end. Of course, Gonzalez is the only driver in this series as well to be carrying one of those fabled black stripes. Yeah, actually, I'll take that back. There's 3 of them, including the race winner. I forgot to note that.
Yeah, well, you know what? You'll be able to make that up in just a little bit of time when we actually go to the IWC GPS series. But yeah, I mean, Fabio Gonzalez, I've been racing against him personally years ago in a different car from a different time. But I've always enjoyed the running and the racing, and just being able to see these guys able to ply their trade in all sorts of different type of cars is always a great thing to see. I thought it was a very good race and a decent battle up front. Obviously, once the first car had run away with it, I mean, there's nothing really anyone had for him there, and I wouldn't be too surprised if he doesn't keep going in round number 2 with that. So as long as they can keep it clean, they probably chase him down. But either way, for Fabio, gotta say, very happy for not only him, but that Thrustmaster Movano racing team.
Yeah, and for those of you wondering where we are heading this season, of course we are following the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix schedule. That means in 2 weeks' time we'll be heading ourselves to Sebring. And then after that, off to Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Canada. After the Americas, well, we go back to America, to Road America. Your first 4 races are in either North America or South America. Then we move over to Europe for the European leg of the season with Monza, Silverstone, Imola. We're heading back to America. August 5th, we head ourselves to the greatest racetrack in the world, the Brickyard, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Then we go to arguably the greatest European racetrack and that is Spa-Francorchamps. Finish off the season with Suzuka, Nürburgring, and Circuit of the Americas. But 12 rounds this season, it is going to be a tough schedule, Paul.
It certainly is, and it's an intense schedule as well. If you have something happen in these early rounds, it really hampers you towards the end of the season. You're always playing catch up there, and well, Simon, he's in that ideal spot. He's got the big win to start off with, and what he can do now is just build on that now, and he can take it forward into the rest of that season. It's a good way to start your season there to get that win, and just take that momentum forward through the next round. Sebring, next time out in a couple of weeks' time, is going to be an interesting one because we know the bumpy nature of that circuit, and this Formula Renault, as we saw with people maybe just going off into the grass, it can be a bit stiff, and it can get a bit uneasy on those bumps, so it's going to be a tricky circuit at Sebring.
It is. For not only the Formula Renaults, but of course we had ourselves a crazy end to the race in the World Championship Series race last year that saw Yoni Tamada being taken out of that one. That will be something when we head ourselves to Sebring in a week's time we will be thinking about. Well, final thoughts on Formula Renault before we head ourselves on a little bit further. Cam, off you go.
Yeah, and just like that, the cars are going to be sorting themselves out fairly shortly here, as I think cars are probably rolling out right now onto the grid. But it's Porsche Super Cup action here at Autodromo Jose Carlos Pace and Interlagos, and I have to say, it looks like it is going to be a fairly good one overall here at Interlagos. Paul, we've just gone over the track in the SimCup. I have to say, it's the same track, but with these different cars. It's tin top action. It is going to be a good one.
Yeah, and what you're going to see, looking at that Supercup, the RaceSpot Supercup, it's going to be a lot longer braking zones in this car, and really, you could see more overtaking opportunities for people who are more confident on the brakes and able to get the handling, the setup absolutely perfectly. But that Center S again could be a trouble spot. So too, Interlagos as well, with people giving it the effort, giving it the big late moves. You can also see a few lunges going into turn 8 as well, and maybe even Bico de Pato as well. But really, it's all about that run out of Young Cow to carry that speed all the way up that hill and over across the line down in towards that Center S well.
Indeed so, and we are going to be thinking about Supercup action very, very soon here on RaceSpot TV, a part of RaceDay. That's going to be coming up in just a few moments' time then. We're going to step aside for a few minutes, get ourselves set up then for Porsche action. It's coming up next on RaceSpot TV.
The NASCAR Beginner for Series powered by iRacing is the premier NASCAR esports series featuring the cars and tracks from the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. The 2016 campaign saw a return to the top of the mountain by Ray Alfalla as a three-time NASCAR World Champion. The march to that championship was not easy though, despite the fact that Ray Alfalla took home the most points in series history. It just also happened to be the tightest championship fight we had ever seen. These guys are set for the 2017 campaign, and as it has been for the 7 years prior, it is no longer going to be a straight shot to the championship. We are going to see the biggest change in this championship picture in series history, as for the first time ever, there will be a chase for the championship. We're going to go into the Homestead Miami Speedway at the end of the season with the 4 best oval sim racing drivers in the world absolutely tied in the championship. You just got to beat the other 3 guys out and you will become an official NASCAR champion. You're going to get yourself a NASCAR championship ring and, of course, $10,000. These are the iRacing Esport World Championships, the pinnacle of sim racing competition. You can catch it all season long, live coverage on iRacing.com/live.
Are you ready for the Super Cup? As it's time for the Porsches to take the track here on RaceSpot TV and on iRacing Live. We are getting ourselves ready for our second of our events here this afternoon. Will Vincent, Paul Smith, Cameron Walsh. We are here. We are live at Interlagos. It's got itself a little bit warmer, but we are 5 minutes away from ourselves getting to the second race of the day. And don't forget, following that, we're going to head ourselves straight over to coverage of the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series. So join myself and Johnny Simone for that. But going to hand it back over to Paul Smith and Cam Walsh for the time being, because it's time to go racing again. Over to you, Paul.
Thank you very much, Will. Yes, so we're here for the Super Cup here, and it's going to be a 30-minute race around the same track, Interlagos. It's going to, as we had with the Formula Renaults. Now, weather conditions slightly different than this one. The track temperature 106 degrees Fahrenheit, but also notice here, Cam, relative humidity 91% as well. So there's a little bit of a haze in the air here for this second race, and these guys are going to be tricky with this weather, and also with the track temperature being so high. Looking after your tyres is going to be a crucial aspect of this race.
It absolutely is. Of course, these lovely Porsche GT3 Cup cars, not GT3 the series, of course, because the GT3 series actually got their name from these cars. So it's a 2,800-pound car, including your driver, and what that basically means, you got those skinny little slicks and this fairly heavy car. And it doesn't bode well if you really press lap after lap after lap. Hopefully, though, we'll see some nice paced racing that people will be having a fairly nice run on it, and we can see some amazing duels. Hopefully, we can avoid Paul having those incidents that we had in the SimCup, the Formula Renault series. We can get some great running here in the Porsches.
Yeah, absolutely. Drivers just out in the warm-up here. We've already had qualifying, so we'll be taking a look at them in a little bit. But cars on qualifying, on warm-up, as I just said now. You're looking at the roundabout. Well, the first driver has set a lap time there, Mario Bertolotti, with a 1 minute 40.5. Joni Täkänen then with a 35.9. So we're getting some good lap times here out this Porsche 911. And really, Cam, it's all about, as I was saying, looking after your tyres, but also who's the best on the brakes, because it's going to be a battle of the last of the late breakers down in towards turn 1 and into turn 4 as well.
Yeah, and you'll see the braking zones quite outstretched, not a lot of downforce on these Cup cars, so you'll see they'll have to start braking early and working their way down the gears as they go. I think the Senna S this time around, it is going to be interesting. These type of cars, they do tend to bang fenders every once in a while, and just to have a little bit of fun with it, of course, it is a standing start. So that is going to be an important one to remember as well, as everyone just getting nice and warmed up here. 3 minutes, 3 minutes and 30 seconds left in this session. This is just a warm-up, and then, Paul, we'll get to some good hardcore racing here.
Yeah, certainly going to be some really good racing here, and people, they're finding it a little bit tricky. Having to learn the car. It's quite a relatively new car, of course, to iRacing, is this Porsche 911 GT3 Cup, and everyone's still just getting the hang of it, and I don't know if you've managed to drive it much, Cam, but it is a tricky car to get the hang of, but when you do get the hang of it, you can have so much fun in this car.
Yeah, I mean, it is just it's a good run. I mean, having these types of Cup cars, I love having these types of cars because everyone always wants to just jump to the fastest of everything, the fastest formula cars, the fastest tin top cars, the fastest prototypes. I've never been one to ascribe to that. I really love having these somewhat slower cars, these that are raced all over the world, just because this is something that you would normally get to see at a national weekend, say going to Watkins Glen like I do every year. I get to see these guys. They put on always a great show, and of course in Watkins Glen we've got both the American Series and the Canadian Series, so we even get a massive race, and these guys, they always look like not only they have a good race, but all the drivers always say how fun of a time that they had racing these cars, and I can definitely see why iRacing needed to pick this Porsche up, because it is just an absolute blast to see it here.
One of the people we'll be keeping an eye out on here then is, of course, Lando Norris, currently in warm-up in 4th place, and Lando, he loves his iRacing, loves racing out here against all these different sim races, and a man of his talents, he's looking to GP3, I believe it's this time around for this season. Certainly a very talented driver is Lando.
Absolutely. I've seen him race and commentated on many a race with Lando. Will we see him having a very good run? Well, it wouldn't surprise me if we do, but yeah, one of the very hot feet coming up through the ranks, and who knows where the limit of this sky could potentially be for him in both sim racing and in the real world. So of course, that's another great thing, Paul, is you get a lot of drivers, a lot of folks who, some people very dedicated to only SimSport, some other people very dedicated not only to SimSport but to their real racing craft, and that allows for some very, very interesting and very unique racing.
Certainly. So as the checkered flag comes out then on this warm-up session, we will be very shortly taking a look at your starting grid then. And well, on pole position for this one, it is Jared Filsell, 1 minute 32.750 for him, with Joni Häkkinen in second place. Ricardo Castroledo then in third, with Mika Happinen in fourth, Joni Tankanen in fifth, and Madison Down sixth place. That's the front three rows of your grid. David Williams then in seventh place, with Mario Bertolotti in eighth, Joshua Rogers in ninth place, and Jere Taitanen in 10th place. The rest of your field will go through here, and as we've been saying, a 40-car grid then here today in this race. It's going to be absolutely fantastic racing. Interesting to see that there is a second covering first all the way down to 31st, so really close lap times here in this race, in this qualifying for this race, and we're all getting set here. The engine revs will shortly be rising for the start of this one. Then the revs are rising, they're looking to the gantry, the green light will come on, and away we'll go then for 30 minutes of racing here in this Super Cup race. As we go down towards the Senna S for the first time, everyone will be looking to try and get through cleanly. We've got a car darting out further back, there could be contact, and there is contact down at turn 1. And all sorts of drama going on there. Able to carry on. We've got a car spinning off at the exit of turn 2 as well. Drivers still running through though. Going down. Look at the massive cars as they're headed down to Interlagos. We've got big car. Big crash there. Upside down. Who was that? That was one of the cars further back, and that was Mikael Ricci. So Ricci, the number 10 car, is out the race. Big instant for them as we're heading now up towards Ferradura for the front runners. And a spinner, number 76, goes round. And well, it's all sorts of chaos going on here. Everyone's still able to run through though, and the 76 car, I'm trying to find who that was. But yeah, big moments here early on in this race, Cam.
Yeah, absolutely. One car already into the air, but you know what? That second spin from Mikko Nurmi going up corner number 7, that was actually a self-spin. He doored another driver during the spin, but I think everybody outside of that ended up to be A-OK, which is a fairly surprising thing when you think about just how many cars are running here, as just this massive swarm of Porsche Cup cars are working their way through this lovely Interlagos circuit. Currently still being led right now by Jeroen Filsell, as just looking back at us, still they're single file, but you go all the way back to 20th position, and then there is just this massive glom of cars looking out the rear of Gianno Vacchio's Porsche, and these packs seem to stick together, Paul, and hopefully they will do that here today.
Daniel Bucker's gone round. Oh, and there's big crashes going on as well further down at turn 2. David Galenk is around. He's got a lot of damage. Evan Meliard as well. Also big damage to his car as well. And we had a car upside down as well in that one. And yeah, that was...
The 35 just went around, and he had that incident too.
Yeah, so... basically, everybody is just trying to move forward and trying to get as many positions as he can. And when you've got a field as close as we said, 31 cars were covered by a second in qualifying, you're always going to get instants, so we just hope that everyone just calms down now. We've still got 27 minutes of racing left, Cam.
Only 27 minutes of racing. They better go faster. No, I think that logic is probably why we've had a couple of incidents here. Very surprised to see at the very start of the race, though, we had that happen. I guess I shouldn't say I was too surprised. They were running 3 wide down to corner number 4. I don't know if that would have worked out regardless. But either way, though, still just a massive amount of cars still being led by Jeroen Filsell, who is taking it up from the SimCup race, and he went, well, if that leader can go all the way up through, I'm going to go all the way through, as it looks like that number 94 car doing a fairly good run. Joni Heikkinen as well as Mika Happinen are in pursuit, and Ricardo Castroledo gets a very good exit in his Radicals car, and he looks to pursue that number 30 of Mika Happinen going into 4.
Yeah, heading down to Interlagos once again, lap 3 of this race. That Porsche engine sounding absolutely crisp. Lovely sound from that. The number 33, Castroledo, looking to put the pressure on Happinen. Happinen's not the easiest guy to get past though, and he seems to be just maybe holding people up a little bit here, because Hakkinen able to pull away in this one. And, well, as they're going through turn number 8, and Castroledo still, well, not able to make it past for the time being. And look at this queue of traffic here, Cam. We've got about 10, maybe 12 cars in this queue of traffic behind Happinen.
Yeah, you've got, you've got your front runner. He's got about a 1.5 second lead, who's got another 1.5 seconds on third. And then from about, I want to say, from third all the way back to at least 17th, you've got bumper to bumper running. And, well, these cars are now going to be getting up to speed, going through what you could consider to be the backstretch, going to the start-finish line. And, of course, you've got the Son of S's not that far away. They dip well into the pit lane line. I know some people were commenting on that. That is very standard here at Interlagos. Already, though, Paul, a couple of cars going too wide as they go into the Son of S.
Oh, and looking for that third place is Castroledo, not able to make it work. Madison down there, trying to make the move, trying to hold on to the position. David Williams is there, Joshua Rogers as well. They're all battling it out for 6th place here, and that's just allowing the 3 cars in front to pull away. They're squeezing each other, the 92 and the 77, down the straight, down to Interlagos once again. The 77 getting a little bit squirrely under braking, and now here comes David Williams trying to make it through, but the 92 goes wide. Rogers, it runs wide through 5. It's all over the curbs going in towards Ferradura once again. He's going to have the inside line though, and now David Williams, they're all getting caught up behind each other. They're slowing each other down, and David Williams desperately trying to get through because he's got cars just chomping it a bit behind, trying to make it through on him. Bertolotti is one of them. Golombek is another one, as we've got a bit of contact between Golombek and Bertolotti as well.
Yeah, just some bumper-to-bumper running right there as they're still working their way right on through. These Porsche Cup cars, I know that they are base chassis Porsches, but I just don't think they have horns on them though, Paul, and I have a feeling some people are fairly frustrated with that. I'm sure they would be using them right now if they had the opportunity to, as we finish yet another lap, only lap 4 here, and we have seen already some very good running. I have to say that was an amazing fight back for Madison Down, but right now he's got David Williams to worry about. Even though he lost the position, I have to say that was a very good attacking, as right now David Williams going out of the inside into the Senna S. Should be fairly easy for David Williams, but Madison Down is not going to make it easy. They door each other once. Will they door each other again coming off the exit at 2? Nope, so that'll be David Williams getting another position, but Madison Down, very easy to say that that is a very inspired drive right now as far as being defensive. Even though he is losing positions, he's still making all the right moves. Now he's going to be on the attack.
Golombek also under pressure, putting pressure on, and he's under pressure from behind as well, as Bertoletti runs wide as well as Golombek. And well, look at this, Klaus is coming through in the VRS Quantum SimSpot car, the 191, trying to make it through. He's made it past 1, trying to get past that car of Golombek, not able to make the move stick, and the 22 car of Titanen as well, trying to get involved in that, the Black Star Racing car, and just great pack racing. It's almost like a touring car race is this. Look at the way they're going, and well, sideways was Titanen. A little bit of contact with the 666 car now, and well, that's Dunkel, Sebastian Dunkel dropping down the order now. He's losing positions from that little bit of contact. And we see how just one little contact, one little mistake, and it can lose you a ton of positions here, Cal.
Yeah, and he's now pursuing Tommy Osgard, and I think Tommy Osgard's doing just ducky as far as I'm concerned. That number 66 being pursued by the 666. as they're running their way now down the start-finish straight once again. Looking up front, though, Marius Golombek, that number 1 car, Mario Bertolotti, they are going to be going into the Senna S too wide. We didn't see an outside pass last time. Will we see it this time? No, Bertolotti's got nothing in it. Klaus Kivikas, nothing in it as well, as they are just really throwing these cars around, Paul, and that's what I absolutely love about the Porsche Cup cars. These things are always a great show to watch.
Joshua Rogers is also under pressure from Joni Takkonen as they're going in to Descenda del Lago once again. This is lap 6 of the race, and Jared Vassell is in the lead of this one by 1.5 seconds ahead of Joni Häkkinen. And it's Mika Hakkinen who is in 3rd ahead of Ricardo Castroledo. Joshua Rogers in 5th with Joni Häkkinen in 6th. David Williams up to 7th place with Madison down 8th and Marius Golombek 9th. And Bertoletti 10th. We've got a little bit of contact. We've got a car spun around. And, well, big moment. Sebastian Dunkel once again involved.
Yeah, that 666 car is, well, they're still working on it. Lando Norris ended up taking a lovely bite out of the rear end of that Porsche Cup car, but actually Lando looks like he's carrying a bit of a front end damage. Not quite sure where the 333 picked it up, but the 333 pursuing the 666 as they are also in pursuit of that Gecko Vortex sim racing car of Christian Thielozou. And the owner are just looking right on through, and they're actually getting pursued by one of the Glacier Racing guys, Petri Kotovara. So just absolutely amazing to see all of the teams here basically in attendance of this Porsche Super Cup Series. And all of these guys, I'm sure some of their drivers will be in the big show tonight.
They certainly will. And, well, Lando Norris under pressure then from Kotovara. Going down the centre towards the centre S once again, lap 7 of this race, and Kotovara through a little bit of contact with Norris there, and well, Norris, it just seems to be carrying that damage. Joshua Rogers, by the way, is now about is 0.1 of a second behind, and he's trying to put the pressure on. Castroledo just ran wide through 4 and 5. Descenda del Lago is looking to the inside. He can't make it through as they head into Ferradura, and if he tries to carry it through around the outside, he can then maybe try and get a little bit of a cutback heading in towards turn 8, and that's what he's doing. The 92 car, Joshua Rogers, is going to make that move stick, is he? Castroledo's holding on to position for dear life, but now Rogers is going to have the inside line as they head in towards Bica Tapato, and well, through goes Rogers, and now Joni Häkkinen right behind Castroledo is the next one queuing up to make the move on that 33 car.
Absolutely, and of course Joni Häkkinen and David Williams are looking on, ready to rock and roll if anything were to happen between Joshua Rogers and Ricardo Castroledo, as they're now working their way through, getting up the gears once again, as Joshua Rogers, a very good fight back on Ricardo Castroledo, and a very good move going through that inner cloister, as just watching that battle was just shows you exactly why these Porsche cars are fun, because they are both on the limit of their tires. They're using all the grip that they can find, and finding that grip is up to these drivers. That is just once again why I love these Porsche Super Cup cars. As just looking through right now, your leader is still Urad Filsell, Joni Häkkinen still in 2nd, and Mika Hakkinen still in 3rd. But once you get to 4th, 5th, and 6th, it's a crapshoot to see who gets where. We're entering just after 11 minutes here at Ran today at Interlagos.
Yeah, absolutely, and still 18 minutes remaining now in this one, so we're almost at half distance in this race, and these guys, they're absolutely pushing the cars to the limit here. Joshua Rogers will be trying to make some ground up on Mika Hakkinen to try and get up into the podium positions in this one, but we've got Lando Norris and also Leonardo Corti swapping positions. They're going around the outside of Ferradura is Corti, and he's going to try and hold it in towards 8, but can't do that. Lando Norris struggling a little bit with that car, and Moritz Lerner behind as well in the Heusenfeld Core Motorsports car. He is trying to get into this action as well. So Leonardo Corti having to go attacking but also defensive in this battle. It's all over. 19th place.
Yeah, and it's, well, these guys are taking it very seriously and very understandably. This is a huge deal right here, even for 19th, 20th, and 21st. As just looking back, I see Moritz Lerner, I see Mikko Paavalainen, as they're running right now side by side, going up the run towards the Senna S. It's Lando Norris, it's Leonardo Corti, and actually it almost looks like Moritz Lorner wanted to make it 3 wide. He still very well might make it 3 wide by shooting up the middle. Will he under braking? No, he backs out very smartly so. Is Lando Norris potentially over braking? No, he has no chance of over braking. It parks it right in the middle of the exit of the Senna S, which scrubs off Leonardo Corti's speed. That is exactly what you want to do, Paul. That was brilliant. He parks the car and going off a 2, he knows the speed was going to be a little slow. That would skew the 052. That is brilliant driving from Lando Norris.
And looking down in towards Descender de Patlago now, and there's a little bit of contact further behind. Moritz Lorner trying to make that move, and these guys are all getting a little bit desperate here. They're all trying to move forward, and Lando Norris, all that experience of racing, really paying off here because he's knowing exactly where to place his car, exactly where to just hold everyone up, and look at how close they were getting behind as well. They're still going battling. Daniel Buck now trying to get involved in this battle as well as looking forward towards the front. There's still no real change up. There's no change of leader at the moment. In fact, the top 3 is still the same for the time being. This is your closest battle here. But what exciting racing, what brilliant racing we're seeing here. And once those early laps had got out of the way here at Cam, as we're reaching the halfway point of this race, people have settled down now and they know exactly what they can and can't do in this race.
Absolutely, and everybody is just seeing whereabouts they lie, and I have to say, just even
David Williams. David Williams gaining the position. Sorry to cut you off there, Cam. Joni Takinen losing place there. And, well, nice move down the inside into the Senna S from David Williams. And nicely done. He's up into 6th place now. He'll be looking forward to Ricardo Castroledo in the cars ahead. But, yeah, go ahead, Cam.
No, I was just saying you can even look as far back as in the 30s to find great racing, and that just goes to show you what kind of field we have. But yeah, David Williams, it looks straightforward, and when it looks straightforward in a car like this, you know that it was done very well. Just a little bit of a nub from Joni Täikkönen on the rear of David Williams. That's okay though, nothing wrong on that number 17 Commando car.
A big crash, and that is Mikko Pavlainen. And also involved in that one was Daniel Buck, and that was down at Descender de Lago. Then it was, and well, it was looking down the inside. Then was the Vortex car of Daniel Buck. They got together, a little bit of contact, and bang bang around they go. Defender of the lost corner once again takes them both down the order in that one. And well, it's incidents like this that you don't want to be getting involved with. As we were saying in the Formula Renault race, Cam, it's the start of the season. You want to start off your season well, and looking forward, Joshua Rogers has got right up to the back of Happening now.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to say, Gianni Vecchio, that was an absolutely outstanding evasive effort. Okay. But either way, just looking throughout this field right now, as Joshua Rogers has gotten around Mika Häkkinen, and for Häkkinen, that was, well, it's a fairly straightforward effort going into corner number 1 in these Porsche Supercup cars. They can take that curb. It's not like we saw in the Formula Renault series, as Ricardo Castroledo is potentially looking to attack that number 30 car, as it seems to be falling off right now. But Paul, these cars can attack curbs, and I think that we're seeing that really hand to this racing.
Yeah, certainly they can. They can bounce over those curbs, really get aggressive on them, and really you look at them, especially going into turn 8. Lando Norris side by side then with one of the cars all going through turn number 5 now, and Norris holding off Moritz Lorner as they're heading in towards Ferradura once again, but Moritz, no, and we've got Dunkel round. Sebastian Dunkel, that's on the exit of Ferradura. He went round. What on earth happened there to him? I'll find out for you. It was a little bit of contact with the Vortex car, and it was Christian Tyler Zuch who made that contact with the 666 car. But, well, Dunkel is back up and running again. Still running in this one. But great. This is fantastic racing. It's action all over. You don't know where to look here, Cam. It's brilliant. And Castroledo now putting the pressure on Harpenden for that 4th place.
Yeah, and you really don't know where to look. It seems that every time you want to talk about something, there's always something else going on. Ricardo Castrolado just using a little healthy amount of that curb as he's trying to get under throttle, but it looks like Mika Häkkinen will be able to keep the defensive line. But David Williams, he's lined himself up. He's got the momentum to roll to the outside. No, he's had to putter out. Ricardo Castrolado just holding that inside line. Joni Takkanen still looking on in his Glacier car as they are now just switching back and forth. It's a serpentine going into
Williams.
Four, almost 3 wide. David Williams on the inside. It will not be made here as Ricardo Castrolado actually lost the rear's deed, so he will indeed make that position. And actually, Joni Takkanen now, he's been waiting long enough. He wants to get involved in this action. So this front running positions, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th is absolutely outstanding to watch as just this whole thing is just kicking off.
It certainly is kicking off indeed, and David Williams trying to move through the field. He did start in 7th place in this race, dropped down in the early running here, but now moving his way back through, and he's got his sights there on Mika Häkkinen as they're going through turn number 10. Vico De Pato once again through turn 11, this long sweeping left-hander, not quite flat out, I don't think, in this Porsche 911 GT3 Cup car as they go through Young Cow once again, and it's all about that run out of that corner all the way up the hill. It's a very, very steep hill, so you want to carry as much speed at the bottom of the hill as possible to then carry it all the way up, and Williams just holding position for the time being behind Häkkinen. Castrolado though under a little bit more pressure from Takkanen, but at the moment they're all just standing in position for the time being.
Yeah, and they're throwing it into the first corner through the second corner. Will David Williams have as good of an exit as he did that last time by? No, he will not. So Mika Häkkinen, he only has to glance at his mirrors. He will dip right to pit exit, and then he'll serpentine back across that number 30 car, that turquoise and black GSRC car, just covering fairly well. David Williams in pursuit, Ricardo Castrolado in pursuit, Joni Takkanen in pursuit. We got to remember though, these 4 guys I'm pretty sure are going to be continuing the race later, I'm sure, as David Williams looking potentially to the outside. Nope, not going to work there. But what I love about these Cup cars is that you can really swing the momentum around. You can go from the outside to the inside, because no matter how close you're running to these cars, Paul, most of your grip is coming from mechanical grip in the tires, not necessarily aerodynamic. So you can get right up to the rear end of the car in front, and you can really take the fight to them, and we're seeing that here. We're seeing so many momentum swings, and then of course it's whoever's better on the acceleration and who's better going up through the gears. Of course, these being paddle shift cars, but it is just so impressive to see these guys racing.
And well, don't forget of course also that these cars, the engine is right at the rear of the car, so the weight transfer when you're going through corners, you've got to learn how to use that to your advantage to try and get the advantage of the car in front. David Williams is certainly looking to take the advantage over Häkkinen. He's getting right up into the rear of that car, looks out to the right then of Häkkinen onto the brakes, trying to make that move around the outside of the centre S. He could almost make it work here. Häkkinen holding onto that line, and Williams now is compromised through turn 2, through Curva de Sol to go once again, and Häkkinen holds on to that position, that 4th place for the time being. But Williams now trying to get aggressive, and here comes Takkanen behind on Ricardo Castrolado, looking to the inside, doesn't go for the move. In fact, Castrolado now looking to the outside of Williams. That could be a bad position here for Castrolado, because here comes Takkanen trying to get involved in this battle, and now they'll go side by side as they head into Ferradura once again. And this is lap 14 of this race. It is a 30-minute race. We're into the last 8 minutes of this race here, and Takkanen trying his best to get past Castrolado. Castrolado looking to try and get past David Williams as well. Fantastic action here at the front of your field, and Cam, it's just breathtaking. Look at the car just drift out there from Castrolado on the exit of turn 9.
I can't pull myself away from this battle. It is just so amazing to watch, but I feel like we have to, because there's so much more action going on the racing circuit. But either way, though, when you're up front, though, that's what's going to end up happening. And I have to say, this battling that they have been doing these last couple of laps, that's allowed Marius Golenbeck, that's allowed Madison Down, that's allowed Klaus Kevikas to potentially intrude themselves onto this great battle that we've had, and it has allowed Joshua Rogers to clear. Once he is cleared, he is now pulled away. So for Joshua Rogers, very impressive to see. He made that great maneuver, and now he's in third. He's only 4 seconds off of your front leading car, and that is, of course, Gerard Filsell. He's running faster laps than Gerard, but you know what? He's got 5 seconds to make up. Don't think there's enough time to do it. But just looking throughout this whole field, Juani Lopez, the number 7 car, is under pressure from Mark McDonald. It's at least talk for about, let's see if we can get at least one sentence in before somebody kicks something else off somewhere else on the track.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just great racing, great action all the way through. And, well, looking at this between Tommy Ostgaard and Hitala as well, this is a battle over 12th and 13th. Going on further down there, pretty close together as they're heading to Ferradura, the 66 and the 74 car. Black Star Racing there for Hitala, heading through turn 8 once again, and those guys really working hard, trying to get onto the back of this big train in front of them, and that train, of course, from 4th all the way down to the 8th place, so they're trying to catch up to those guys in front. Those two still battling it out here in this one. Looking further down your field as well, Daniel Buck is trying to do a bit of a recovery drive, and he's trying to get up in, he's down in 25th place, so he's struggling away. Now looking towards the front of the field once again, David Williams got a fantastic run out of Young Cow, and he's going to go alongside as they're headed in towards the Centre S once again. It is the start of lap 16 here, not able to make the move, trying to make the move down the inside. Fantastic undercut there. Will he be able to keep it though? No, he can't, because here comes Hackpeden round the outside, and Curvedasol, thank you very much, he holds on to his position. Fantastic driving for both drivers. David Williams, I didn't think he had it. He certainly tried and almost got it, but yeah, Williams now still in that 5th place, trying to look down the inside of Happinen, and still this queue of cars are staying as they were at the start of the lap there, Cam.
The amount of grip and speed that David Williams has in hand is impeccable. He is able to put the car, position the car wherever he seems to want it, and everything seems to stick as he attacks that Black Star Racing car of Mika Häkkinen, as it is now fully a full train, as Marius Golombek is now on the rear of Joni Täikkönen. Madison Down is there, Klaus Kivikas is there, and this is a great run here at Interlagos. We've only got 5 minutes of this remaining, Paul, so whatever they're going to do, they have to do it quick here, as the laps are going to tick by faster than I think any of us can imagine, as this has just been an astounding battle from David Williams and Mika Häkkinen.
It's fantastic racing. It's this, I keep on saying it, but this is brilliant. This is absolutely fantastic. And now David Williams looking to try and get the run through Young Cow once again, and well, getting under the slipstream, going into that pit lane entry, but not quite close enough, I don't think, to maybe make a move. Well, he's looking to the outside once again. We saw what happened last lap, and he's now looking to the inside. Not able to make a move for the time being. David Williams is just really right up under that rear wing of the car in front of Mika Häkkinen, and well, these guys, they're going to come to blows at some point, surely, because they keep on testing each other, they keep on pushing. Williams looking to the outside down to Interlagos once again, turn number 4 of this track, and he's going to try and hold it around the outside, but he runs it over the GastroTurf there. It's slippy out there, and that's going to lose him a little bit of momentum out that corner. He slots it back into that 5th place. Ricardo Castroledo, he's sitting there patiently, he's waiting, but he's got Täikkönen right behind him as well. Golombek, as we were saying, he's onto the back of this along with Madison Gown and Kivikas as well. So a big train of cars here, and so far nobody's able to make the move stick here, Cam.
Yeah, 4th to 10th position all in a row, ready to rock and roll here to finish out our first round of the Super Cup Series here on RaceSpot TV and iRacing Live. Mika Häkkinen, very, very good running from him. He has put on a defensive book teaching course. I have to say, a lecture, you could probably say. Every single attack that David Williams has made has been countered by Mika Häkkinen.
Certainly, and well, Don't forget the leaders are coming on through towards the end of this race. We've got about 2 laps remaining in this one, so getting towards the end here. Here comes Williams once again. We've got side-by-side action behind as well with Takinen and Gollenbeck looking as well. Williams not able to make a move, neither is Gollenbeck, but now Gollenbeck is really looking busy here in this queue of cars. Looking further down your order as well, we've got a queue of cars for 21st place as well. Vachel, Jake Maloney, Kevin Riley and Daniel Buck all battling it out for that 21st place. Jake Maloney is going to make it through. Is he round the outside? No, he isn't. He's going to not get that position, but still back at that front. If he's going to lose the position here, that's certainly right as it goes through, and that's it. Yeah, he's down a position then, so Kevin Riley through in that one. Some good battling down your order. We have lost 10, and Williams, David Williams, look at that, into turn 8. He's going to try and hold it around the outside of 9. Little bit of bumping there, and the 30 car almost goes around. There's more bumping further back with the 1 car of Gollenbeck, but Williams finally makes that move stick. He had to do it in a different place. And we've got contact, more contact, and that's Gollenbeck dropping down now. He's got the car of Madison down around the outside here of turn 11 going into 12, but not able to hold on to position for the time being as they go into Young Cow. But Gollenbeck is being pushed around a little bit here on this lap, and he is now down to that 8th place there, Cam.
Yeah, and this is going to be the last. This should be the last lap. Your on Phil Sal will have taken the white flag as they will be taking it one more time around this Interlagos circuit. What is left to have happened? I feel like there is so much left of this. So late on the break is Mika Hyppinen, but it is not going to happen, at least there. Ricardo Castroledo, he's working on it. Joni Takinen was able to secure his 7th position as they're still fighting here. And Paul, you do have to talk about your on Phil Sal. I know there's great battles, but that number 94 Porsche, very great run from that. Once again, we did see the exact same thing happen in the SimCup series, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it was a one-sided affair. It's just that Rod Phil Sal wasn't having to deal with all the other drivers and Mika Hyppinen. He's working around the outside now to David Williams, working up to 7.
Yeah, certainly are. Ferradura is this corner. It's a double apex right-hander. Happening though, having to take a defensive line and the second part of it because Castroledo now looking to the inside of 8. They're not going to make it through, and they're still in this queue of traffic. David Williams holding on to that position, but yeah, Gerard Fursell is heading down towards Young Cow for the final time in this race, and he's been alone at the front there. Not quite as dominant as in the SimCup race, but certainly he has had a fantastic effort here as he goes through Young Cow up the hill now, and well, he'll be seeing the fans will be cheering him on. They'll go across the line, he will now, and he will take the first win in this Super Cup race here on RaceSpot RaceDay. And well, Gerard through he goes. Joni Heikkinen in 2nd place with Joshua Rogers in 3rd. David Williams now, he's going to end up in that 4th place ahead of Mika Hyppinen. Ricardo Castroledo ends up in 6th place. A really good close action all the way through that pack there. And further down your order, we're looking down, and 15th for Petri Kotrivara, and we've seen plenty of incidents in this race as well. Looking down as well, Mika Pavalainen and Norbert Littner pretty close together, but Littner not going to be able to take that 24th place, and we'll now be able to take you through your official results of this race, and it is Gerard Fursell who wins this one, 2.7 seconds ahead of Joni Heikkinen in 2nd place. Joshua Rogers then ended up in 3rd place, a good podium position for him after starting in 9th place. David Williams was sold with a hard charging fighting drive there up to 4th place, with Mika Hyppinen not able to hold on to that 4th place in the end, finishing up in 5th place. Ricardo Castroledo was up in that 3rd place early on in the race. He drops down to 6th place in this one, with Joni Takinen in 7th. Marius Gollenbeck then in 8th place, with Madison down, losing positions in this race. He won't be happy with that, in 9th place. And Klaus Kivikas rounding out your top 10. Looking further down the order, some big big names further down, and we saw Sebastian Dunkel having a couple of incidents in the race. He finished up in 20th place. Daniel Buck ended up not finishing the race. He had an incident on the penultimate lap, looks of things, so he ends up down in 29th, and 28th down to 40th, did not finish in this one, but to be honest, Cam, fantastic racing there today.
I gotta say, if this is what the series is going to be, this is going to obviously be a very, very great addition to our weekend. I have to say, absolutely sensational running, and very happy to be here at Interlagos.
All right, so that's it from the Super Cup here today. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time, and we'll be right back with the iRacing Grand Prix World Championship next.
The NASCAR Beginner Series, powered by iRacing, is the premier NASCAR eSports series featuring the cars and tracks from the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. The 2016 campaign saw a return to the top of the mountain by Ray Alfalla as a three-time NASCAR World Champion. The march to that championship was not easy, though, despite the fact that Ray Alfalla took home the most points in series history. It just also happened to be the tightest championship fight we had ever seen. These guys are set for the 2017 campaign, and as it has been for the 7 years prior, it is no longer going to be a straight shot to the championship. We are going to see the biggest change in this championship picture in series history, as for the first time ever, there will be a chase for the championship. We're going to go into the Homestead Miami Speedway at the end of the season with the 4 best oval sim racing drivers in the world absolutely tied in the championship. You just got to beat the other 3 guys out and you will become an official NASCAR champion. You're going to get yourself a NASCAR championship ring and, of course, $10,000. These are the iRacing eSport World Championships, the pinnacle of sim racing competition. You can catch it all season long, live coverage on iRacing.com/live.
Well, that was, ladies and gentlemen, the Super Cup here on RaceSpot TV, streaming live on iRacing Live. We're going to head ourselves over in just 1 moment's time to coverage of the first round of the 2017 iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series from Cam Walsh, from Paul Smith, Rachel Whiteford on social media, from Will Vincent. Will talk to you in just 5 minutes' time.